Sarah, it is good to see you.
Good to see you.
I respect you taking the opportunity.
Thank you. Thanks for being in D.C.
Well, I came for you. What do you think about this as a positive pivot? Let's take a look at this situation and see if we can get to a place, mutual respect, both sides think credibility counts, and we move forward. What do you say?
All right, we'll give it a shot.
All right. Where is the sticking point? This meeting matters. You know it does. I understand the reference to counsel. I get it, not just because I'm an attorney. But you don't want to answer for the lawyers. You don't want to answer for an operation that you're not a part of. I get it. But you can answer for what you said. You don't have to refer to counsel to that. Sekulo's not your lawyer. He's the president's lawyer. You're saying he didn't dictate this. He did what any father would do. That turns out not to be true. You agree with that?
Once again, I know I answered this question on Monday. I answered it on Tuesday. And I'm going to answer it the same way today, and you're probably not going to like it any more on Wednesday than it sounds like you liked it on Monday or Tuesday. But this is a legal matter, and the appropriate individuals to answer questions on a legal matter are the outside counsel, and I would direct you to them. And frankly, I did direct you to them, and you had them here on your set, and you asked them that question, and I'd refer you back to that statement.
I get it. I didn't have them, but I understand what you're saying about CNN. Why is it a legal matter, what you said?
Again, this is an illegal process, and I would refer you to the appropriate venue to answer questions on a legal back and forth, and that is the president's outside counsel, and that's who you should ask those questions of. If you guys want to talk about questions that have to do with White House policy and substantive policy, I'm happy to try to answer those and do the best I can to provide you that information. If you want to talk about things that don't have anything to do with me and that are the venue
because
of
this is what you
the
said.
Outside counsel, then that's who should answer those questions.
I get it. I get that that's the answer. But you also get that it's unsatisfying, right? That's why we're frozen.
I mean, I don't understand having to answer the same question over and over and over again.
Because you haven't answered it. That's why. In all due respect, it's because you didn't answer it.
No, that's not true. I've answered it. You just didn't like the answer. And there's a big difference between me not answering it and you not liking the answer.
There can be. No, fair point. There can be a difference. However, I don't know that there is here because this is about something you said. You could have said this then. When people asked you, hey, what Sekulow says, is it right? Why didn't you say then it's a matter for counsel?
Again, I'm not going to get into a back and forth with you. I've addressed it. The outside counsel has addressed it. They've answered this question over the last couple of days, and I would refer you back to those comments.
Let's look at it a different way. Do you wish that the White House had corrected the error between where it started and where it wound up with Sekulow in this letter sooner?
I wish that we spent a lot less time focused on things the American people don't care about. I wish we spent a lot less time talking about this witch hunt and that we talked about things that impact everyday Americans. I wish we spent a lot more time talking about the economy. I wish that your network could spend a lot more time today covering a very important piece of legislation that the president signed when he spent a good bit of time this afternoon talking about the importance of Veterans Choice Act that he signed into law today. And your network didn't even take that. I wish those were the things that we spent time talking about.
We didn't take the whole VA.
I would love to spend some more time talking about that.
We did take Kudlow's whole symposium. A lot of people did not. You have to make choices in this business. But
and I understand if you guys didn't want to put the veterans as the choice that you made, and I think that's a sad decision that CNN made.
Not what it's about.
And I know that that's something that's important to you, and I think it's sad that we don't spend more time on those topics. You and I have had that conversation both on camera and off camera, and it's no different on camera than it is off with me. I think you know that, and that's why I think we should be talking about issues that people care about.
Right, but credibility is something that people care about. The truth is what people care about. Nobody thinks, except really right now the president and maybe you in this moment, that this is a witch hunt. These are real questions. It's a real investigation. We've seen real indictments and lots of different threads to the story. But I understand that spin. The credibility of it matters. When something that appears to be a lie, because the idea that the president's lawyer doesn't know what his client's role was in the drafting of that response, it just strains credulity. Common sense tells you that can't be. And how do we know? Because it wasn't. Sekulow changed his story. The letter came out only when exposed. Why wasn't the story changed sooner?
Again, that's a question you'd have to ask the outside counsel. I'm not going to have a legal conversation with you here. If you want to talk about issues, again, that matter to the American people, I'm happy to do that. But
You really don't
I've
think this
answered
matters to the American people?
I've answered this question multiple times, and no matter how many times I answer it for you, it's not going to change. It's the same one.
Look, it's got to be frustrating for you. I'll try it one other way.
It's got to be frustrating for me to answer the same question over and over again.
To be put in a position where you can't answer it. You seem to be in a position where you feel that you are constrained to not be able to answer.
We are purposefully walling ourselves off and allowing the outside counsel to do their job, and we're doing ours.
But you did initially answer it, right?
I did, and again, I referred you. No, I don't. But I am starting to regret sitting here because
Listen,
I'm answering the same question
I wanted to give you a lot of
times.
chances at it because I think it matters. I think it hurts your credibility. I think it hurts the dynamic. But I gave you the opportunities. You made of them what you wanted. All right? It's not the only reason I brought you.
I'm very comfortable with my credibility and the fact that I think by sitting here right now and taking questions from you shows the type of person I am, shows my effort to provide information, and frankly, to be in an environment that's not exactly friendly, that's not exactly one that I think a lot of people in my position would come and sit in, and I think that speaks a lot to my credibility. And if you want to focus on my credibility, I think that's something that you should certainly look at.
I started the interview by saying, I respect you taking the opportunity. Let me ask you about something else that winds up becoming like a pattern of this. What the president called Spygate, all right? You've now had a list of people, including the Speaker of the House, Gowdy, Nunes, Burr, say, we looked at the information that is relevant. The FBI did nothing wrong. It's time for the president to stop saying that the FBI spied on him wrongly.
Look, the president's got some real concerns. We know that the FBI certainly participated in a number of things that I think, frankly, the American people are concerned about, not just the president, and we think they should be looked at, and that's what's taking place.
Right, but he keeps saying it like it may have happened, and these people from your own party have looked at it and said it didn't happen.
The president feels strongly about this and that it should be fully looked at, and I think he's got some real reasons to be concerned. There's no question that there was a lot of foul play that went on in the FBI. We've seen evidence of that, and certainly, people were fired over the inappropriate actions that they took while they were at the FBI, and certainly the president has a right to be concerned about that.
Nothing connected to what he says, though, about spying. That's why I'm just saying, why don't you drop that and move on to another area where you don't know the facts?
Chris, there have been a lot of reports that have that raised a lot of cause for concern. The president's asking that those be looked at. Look, there's been nothing, literally nothing, that has come out of the year-and-a-half long hunt that you guys have been on, yet everybody wants to spend plenty of time focused on that.
Why do you keep calling it that?
The president's simply asking that this be looked into as well.
I'll ask you a third time. I don't know why you keep calling it that. Bob Mueller's one of the most respected people in your party.
Because
he's a decorated veteran. Everybody stood up and cheered when he got this job.
I'm glad you guys want to mention the veterans now, but you didn't want to cover it when we were actually providing.
Look, have I ever taken a cheap shot at you? Why would you say that we don't support the veterans?
That's not what I said. I said
you were the guys who decided not to invite one of the biggest veterans groups who was in favor of the choice bill to the ceremony today, the IAVA, one of the largest populations, just because they haven't been as affectionate to the Trump administration. We wouldn't have known that they weren't there based on the coverage by CNN today. No, but I'm saying, look, I think that we have a very strong case to make that we cover veterans issues as well or not better than anyone. I don't think we need a cheap shot. I ask you the questions, you answer them the way you want. The spying, I laid it out there for why I would think that it's time to let it go.